Oh, I get it. I get it. Just because I happen to have a song with a fetus on a string, you have to go straight to hell.
Exactly. Classic case of one-upsmanship. That's
Yes.
exactly what I.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Das Audiophiles, mein Obergruppenführer. My name is John. His name is Andy. Ich heiße super fantastisch. Ich trinke Shampoos mit Lachsfisch. Ich heiße super fantastisch. More on that another time.
Hell yeah.
Because we both know it. So, champagne with salmon, eh? Classic guy. Anyway, we have the serious business, not serious anyway. I've listened to the track which today Brother Andy is providing. So, what have you got in your quiver of delights? Probably not darts of pleasure.
No. I've got an artist by the name of Amigo the Devil. Is that ringing any bells?
Children's entertainer.
Yes.
No.
Yes. With a name like that, you'd have to be, right? And I guess the name of the track fits the name of the artist because the track is called Hell and You.
Okay. Another ex-Catholic.
Sounds like it. So please go off and give Amigo the Devil and this track Hell and You a listen and let me know what you think.
Okay, I have the abort button in case I feel one of those coming on. But I shall give this a try and let you know what I think.
Excellent.
Went to the bar to get a little closer to myself and learn things I never really wanted to know. The walk got a little far, so I got into a cab that smelled like vinegar, stains that showed what's in the girl before. But I want to be where all stupid things I say sound so romantic and true. 'Cause I'd rot in hell with you if you.
It's an interesting beginning, banjo time. And it's got that sort of pattern to it that sounds like someone moving slowly through a platform going dun, 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 dun. And so he's got a decent voice, and it's weird because his vocals are really clear, but I'm still not getting what he's saying. Something about going to a bar, things about himself he didn't want to know. Well, don't drink then. And then something about a long walk and a cab, vinegar, and what was inside a girl. Was that, as they call it, upchuck? Perhaps. And then it changes to these ringing guitar chords that's got that sort of Dwayne Eddy to them. Interesting. Let me just go back a little bit and see how this goes.
But I want to be where all stupid things I say sound so romantic and true. 'Cause I'd rot in hell with you if you just asked me to. I love the shitty things we do together. Live with me in this sin forever. Hell and you, I know you wanted to. I say take the We take things a little far, but you couldn't name a place.
So I think that might have been the chorus. So yeah, you had those ringing guitars. You had a bit of cymbal splashy, organ chords. I think there was a bass. Definitely at the end there was like a picked bass, dong 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 dong, and then the banjo, which has been metronomic all the way through. Pauses to reload, and we're off again. Interesting.
I wouldn't go with you. A plane, a train, a car I'd run. If I was dead, I'd float. I'd crawl in bed with you. Even on someone else's blood. On top of someone else's love. In the worst motel we find. 'Cause home is the last place that I'd stand to be with anyone but you.
Chorus.
'Cause I'd rot in hell with you if you just asked me to. I love the shitty things we do together. Live with me in this sin forever. Hell and you, I know you wanted to. I say you take the shot, see this chance, feel the fire, and let me have this dance with you.
All Star Trek on us. Yeah, there's some eerie, it's almost like ghostly noises in that sort of previous verse. Just notes ringing out. Probably the guitar might have been but there was a couple of high, eerie ones and then a low, rumbling one, which then led back into the Dwayne Eddy, leading up to the chorus. When he's singing the chorus, I'd Rot in Hell with You, there's that low guitar, and that just reminded me just then of like Twin Peaks theme tune. Down. It's the same feel to it, isn't it? Yeah. And then we've got this high, eerie warbling out of Star Trek.
Take the shot, see this chance, feel the fire, and let me have this dance with you.
A percussion.
Just asked me to. I love the shitty things we do together. Live with me in this sin forever. Hell and you, I know you wanted to. I say you take the shot, see this chance, feel the fire, and let me have this dance with you.
Hey then, that's some interesting stuff there. I liked it after that sort of high Star Trek. It wasn't, but it's almost like that bowing a saw sort of a noise. And we got some percussion there as well, with a bit of tambourine, and there's I don't know what you call it, frog scraper. So yeah, there's a bit of extra stuff in there, and then he sort of finishes on the sort of three-quarter time song with just a picking the banjo notes. Yeah, it's interesting. It has all this kind of. There was some other lyrics in there which I only caught bits of. Something definitely about blood and bodies floating and stuff like that. So it's almost like a cheap ghost story or something like that. Yeah, there's obviously a lot to unpick here. So let's go back and unpick it with Andy.
All right, you've returned from hell, and you. What did you make of that track by Amigo the Devil?
So there was me, about to get ready in double denim, and went with some sad rip-off of a Sabbath riff. But imagine my delight when it's banjo time. Yeah, and interesting, it starts off and the melody itself is sort of first of all I thought stepping stones, but then I've kind of got this sort of hopping from one platform to another. Frogger is what came to mind. It's and then it's always a bit this and the same, and then do it to the next bit. And this proved to be, from listening to the whole track, to sort of like the scaffolding of the track, and where other instrumentation and ideas hang from its poles, and it keeps it all together.
Mhm.
The singer comes in, and it's really weird because he is singing pretty clear, but I still only catch every third word. I don't know what the hell's going on with me, but I mean, he does mumble a couple of bits, but for some reason I'm just retaining. So he opens up about something about going to the bar and getting to know himself, but stuff he doesn't really want to know. And I'm thinking, well, just don't go to the bar, you idiot, if you don't really want to know. And then there's a long walk and something about vinegar and stains and what's in the girl before. And I was thinking, that sounds like upchuck. But that's about as much as I'm getting from it. So yeah, we have this, delightful banjo going, and then what we get is, and this is the structure of the song because it repeats the whole pattern. We get these ringing electric guitars that are quite sort of. I mean, it's a lazy comparison, but I always say it, that sort of Dwayne Eddy sort of, rocking 50s high down sort of thing. And as he exclaims, "Oh, rot in hell with you," the guitar becomes full Dwayne Eddy, backed with some cymbal ripples, I would call them, rather than massive hits or splashes. They're very tasteful. And some nice organ chords as well. The low sort of guitar, the down, down parts reminded me of the theme to Twin Peaks. I mean,
Mm.
it doesn't, it's not the same notes, do you know what I mean? But it's just that same feel.
Similar.
Yeah, yeah. And then he sings something about "Let me have this dance with you." Um, and there may have been in there before, but as it's sort of coming out of the chorus bit, you get these picked bass notes that are quite sort of playful as well. Um, but all the time, the metronomic banjo keeps on going like a Duracell bunny, keeping it all together. And
Yeah.
it kind of pauses to reload. Actually, just coming into the chorus, it does that sort of ding, 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 like it's been wound up again. And then this one, it pauses to reload, and then it's into the next verse. Um, and here again, it's the same framework, but we have these weird, clear notes that hang like specters. You get a couple of high ones. There's one that's sort of high and ghostly, another one that's more screechy, eerie, and then we get a low rumbling one before the same ringing chords that herald the beginning of the return of the chorus. And it's kind of just added an atmosphere to this. And it's not, I mean, I'm getting the odd words here because I think I was listening more to the music, but so I got blood and something about floating bodies and stuff. So there's some sinister shit going on, obviously. But musically, although you've got this fairly benign banjo line all the way through, as it were, it's almost like that's leading you down the path, as it were, whether it's the ghost train or the haunted house or whatever. And there's other things are coming in, like a ghost train, I guess, in front of you and hanging there. Woo! But it's
Mhm.
that spooky sort of clear note that just, I think out of context, if you put it into a different song, it wouldn't sound spooky or eerie. But there's something about this, and I'm getting the vocals by osmosis and not really. So I'm getting a hint of what he's going on about. And you've got the title and the artist name as well. So it's all a bit sort of spooky. So we exit out of this chorus with some more eerie high notes. And it's almost like, at first I thought it was vocals because I thought it was shades of like Star Trek's. No, but it's not. But then it started to sound more to me like the old bowed saw playing, which again
Yeah.
is a lovely sort of weird, otherworldly sound that can be beautiful or can be a little bit sort of creepy. Um, and we get percussion for the first time as well. Some nice tambourine work and, for want of a better word, a frog scraper, which brings into the Frogger imagery that I had from earlier. So it all works for me. Um, and it does almost become at this point, it feels like a ghostly, I was going to say waltz, but it's not three time, but do you know what I mean? A ghostly dance. It's
Yeah.
this dance macabre or whatever, famously. Um, He then repeats the chorus in sort of like as he's singing it. It's probably about 3/4 time that it was before, with just the banjo sort of just picking the notes of the chord rather than doing his Frogger hopping stuff. And so it also slows down. And then just before ending the last line, I think it's "Let me have this dance with you," he sings just a cappella. Um, so this whole thing has a sort of eerie ghost story quality to it. I think if I listened to it again and picked up more of the lyrics, it would make more sense. But I get the feeling, unless I'm way out. Um, but yeah, it's these otherworldly sounds hanging off this sort of almost processional
Yeah.
banjo track that's leading you, like Virgil, down below through the circles. Maybe. Anyway, yeah, I thought this is really interesting. Because he's got these sinister sort of tones, but done on this kind of folksy banjo type sound to it, and then other stuff hung on to it. Just really interesting. I don't know how much I like this. I probably haven't listened to it. I didn't dislike it, don't get me wrong. I found it really interesting. I think I'd have to give it a couple more listens to really get to grips with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked it enough, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's just really, it was an interesting approach, is probably the most, arresting thing about it.
Yeah. It's an interesting sound for sure. It has this I don't know, this southwestern like Red Dead Revolver type feel to it, while also giving you shades of like Edgar Allan Poe or any other writer that would cover the kind of dark macabre that you kind of alluded to when you were going over it. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it just reminds me of Alan Moore's writing in Swamp Thing, Swamp Gothic,
Yeah,
because it's
yeah,
that sort of,
yeah,
tone
yeah,
and the
for sure.
place. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fun.
low country kind of, yeah. It's yeah, it's definitely an interesting and original sound. And not so much the sound, but the content was what made me like shoot this one up the list, because we've done so many interesting dark songs lately, mostly that you've given to me. And I was thinking, this put me in the headspace of like, oh man, well, you cover some pretty interesting, eerie shit. Let me throw some Amigo the Devil up.
Oh, I get it. I get it. Just because I happen to have a song with a fetus on a string, you have to go straight to hell.
Exactly. Classic case of one-upsmanship. That's
Yes.
exactly what I did. So yeah, thanks for giving this a listen. Let's get into the artist a little bit. Danny Kiranos, born June 26, 1987, known professionally as Amigo the Devil, is an American singer-songwriter, guitarist, and banjo player. His music is influenced by American folk, country, rock, and heavy metal, with themes of murder, death, and other subject matters, which has led to his music being called dark folk or murder folk. Kyrinos was born and raised in Miami, Florida. He is the son of a Greek father and a Spanish mother, and was influenced by the traditional music of both cultures. Once he was 17, he started moving around the country and first went to California to attend the Los Angeles Film School to focus on horror films. No surprise there. But quickly dropped out and enrolled in a local culinary school. That is a bit of a head scratcher. He eventually settled down and worked in the brewing industry. And while in San Francisco, California, Kierno started going by his stage name, Amigo the Devil, and started gaining popularity for his energetic live performances and built up a fan base. He would eventually relocate to Austin, Texas. His first EP was released in 2010, entitled Manimals. This was eventually followed by two more EPs in 2013 and 2015, respectively titled Diggers and Decompositions, the latter of which contained the original release of this track we listened to today, Hell and You. In May of 2018, Amigo the Devil released his first full-length album entitled Volume 1, which was essentially a collection and compilation of the aforementioned three EPs. This naturally contained a re-release of Hell and You and further propelled his career trajectory upward. That same year, he would drop a second full-length album, Everything Is Fine, in October, And this proved to be a rather savvy move on his part, as the release of Volume 1 took little effort and garnered a lot of attention he then capitalized on by releasing his true debut, Everything Is Fine, just 5 months later, further bolstering his burgeoning popularity. In 2019, Mayor Steve Adler of the city of Austin, Texas, announced that November 16th was Amigo the Devil Day and in the city, and awarded him a signed seal. 2 years later, he would release his 4th EP, appropriately named Covers, Demos, Live Versions, B-Sides. And I will give you one guess as to what it contained. His 3rd full-length album, entitled Born Against, was dropped on April 16th, 2021. He would follow that up with his most recent album, Yours Until the War Is Over, nearly 3 years later in February of this year, 2024. In her piece on the blog site Rue Morgue, writer Dev Crowley had this to say of the artist and his works. I've been a fan of his since hearing the serial killer-centric songs from Volume 1. Songs like Helen You, One Kind of People, and Dahmer Does Hollywood hooked me immediately. In 2018, Amigo the Devil released another album called Everything Is Fine, and has been on a world tour for the last couple of months that will continue until the spring of 2020. I'm here to tell you why you should be listening to him immediately. She would go on to write of this track, Helen You is a darkly romantic number about a man that would follow a woman anywhere, even to hell, to rot with her. While the album version is great and bouncy, my favorite version of the song involves just Danny and his banjo in a grotto. That version is available on YouTube if you want to go check it out. It screamed copyright issues, so I didn't even bother offering it up. Plus, I liked some of the eerie sounds and the other instruments that kind of unfolded as the song progressed. So that's why I went with this. As he sings, his voice echoes off the walls for a quiet and haunting rendition. This was one of the first songs that I ever heard by the artist, and it's what got me hooked to his music. Writing for the Austin Chronicle, Michael Toland would say this of Kyrinos: singer-songwriters sprout like wildflowers in Texas, but none comparable to Amigo the Devil. While Kyrinos relies on his acoustic guitar and soaring vocal grit, he surrounds himself with a bleary combo of widescreen arrangements and homegrown sound effects that pull him back from the brink of affectation. As much Tom Waits as Roy Orbison, Amigo the Devil expertly navigates the twisted path between a metaphorical heart on a sleeve and a real-life beating one blooding up his flannel. So, in 2020, Ralph Beauchamp provided an artist spotlight of Kyrinos for My Amp Music, in which he wrote the following: Amigo the Devil has been on my radar for the past 6 months. I found him while searching Spotify for new music. Same here. One listen to his 2018 album, Volumes 1, and Everything Is Fine, and I was hooked. How do I describe his music? It's dark, sinister, hypnotic. His somber style of Americana/folk music and nefarious lyrics draw you in like a moth to the flame. His voice is very smooth and silky, but his lyrics have a hellish twist. So, speaking of lyrics, let's get into the ones for this song. Went to the bar to get a little closer to myself and learn things I never really wanted to know. The walk got a little far, so I got into a cab that smelled like vinegar, stains that showed what's in the girl before. But I want to be where all the stupid things I say sounds as romantic and true. 'Cause I'd rot in hell with you if you just ask me to. I love the shitty things we do together. Live with me in this sin forever, Helen you. I know you want it too. I say take the shot, see this chance, feel the fire, and let me have this dance with you. We take things a little far, but you couldn't name a place I wouldn't go with you. A plane, a train, a car, I'd run. If I was dead, I'd float. I'd crawl in bed with you. even on someone else's blood, on top of someone else's love, in the worst motel we find. Ugh. Because home, because home is the last place I'd stand to be with anyone but you. Because I'd rot in hell with you if you just ask me to. I love the shitty things we do together. Live with me in this sin forever, hell and you. I know you want it too. I say, take the shot, see this chance, feel the fire, and let me have this dance with you. So, there you are. Pretty gruesome, disgusting lyrics. That bit about laying in someone else's blood and someone else's love in the worst motel they could find is pretty grody. But I like it. It's good stuff. It's interesting music. I love the banjo work. I love the folksiness.
Yeah.
I love the dark Twin Peaks like aspect of his songwriting and lyricism. So find it intriguing. Thought you might. It sounds like you
Yeah,
did.
definitely.
You a couple listens and see where it lands with you.
Yeah.
But awesome, man. Glad you gave it a listen. Guys out there in the listening audience, please let us know what you made of Amigo the Devil and this track, Hell and You. Love to hear what you all have to say about it. If you've got anything else
can I just
yeah, go
one
ahead.
last question? The thumbnail, is that the cover of his album?
Yeah.
Really nice artwork as well.
Super
Sorry.
cool, right? Like that bear owl combo of him just like
Yeah.
very cool. Totally
Sorry.
agree with you. And I thought you might get a kick out of it, so I'm glad you ended up coming back around and making mention of it. So yeah, if you guys have any other recommendations, feel free to drop them in the comments field below. We will reserve them and add them to the ever-growing list for our Friday episodes. Also, a little bit of house cleaning. Starting next week, the 23rd through the 27th will be devoted to, well, it's really the 23rd through the 26th will be devoted to holiday-centric songs that John and I have picked for one another to check out. The 27th, that Friday, will be occupied by our regularly scheduled programming of, devoting it to a viewer's request. Then the subsequent week will be a couple days of some blooper stuff, some fun chicanery that John has put together that wasn't meant for you initially, but we thought, what the hell? And then the subsequent episodes will be our top 3. John's favorite songs that I've offered him, my favorite songs that John has offered me, and then a collective episode where we both discuss songs that we really dug that you guys offered to us throughout the year. And then after that, 25, the first full week in 25, we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming, but just wanted to put that out there to curb your expectations and enthusiasm if you were looking for more of this. All that out of the way, hopefully you guys will like, share, and subscribe, and join us for the next installment of the Audiophiles. We'll see you later, guys.